Let me ask you something, and I want you to be really honest with yourself. You love your kids, right? Of course you do. You're a dedicated parent. But lately, has your marriage started to feel a little different?
Yeah, if you're nodding your head right now, you are definitely not alone. It's that feeling, where every single conversation is just about logistics. Who's got pickup today? Did you see that report card? We really need to talk about their screen time. The romance, the connection, it can feel like a distant memory, right? Replaced by this all consuming project of just parenting.
Believe it or not, there's actually a name for this. It's called the parenting alliance marriage. It's that slow drift where you stop being partners and lovers and you basically become co-CEOs of Family Incorporated. And a lot of us fall into this trap where we tell ourselves, you know what, this is fine. This is the sacrifice we're making for the kids. As long as we both love them, our relationship can just wait. Well, today, we're going to tear that idea apart. Because that isn't just a flawed idea, it's a dangerous myth. And I'm telling you, this one shift in how you see things could literally change everything for your family. So, let's dive in.
So here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to talk about why your marriage is the anchor for the whole family. Then we'll get into exactly why that matters so much for your kids. After that, we're jumping into 3 practical ways to reconnect and how to actually communicate better. And then, of course, we'll wrap it all up with your final takeaway.
Okay, let's get right to the heart of it. This idea that we should put our own relationship on the back burner for our children, it's not just wrong, it's completely backward. Here's the truth. The single greatest gift you can ever give your child is a strong, loving, connected relationship with your partner. I love this analogy from the legendary family therapist Virginia Satir. She said to think of the parents as the king and queen of a kingdom. Their relationship, the bond between them, is the absolute core of that entire kingdom's stability. The children, they're the treasured citizens. So let me ask you, if the king and queen are always at war, or even worse, just giving each other the silent treatment, how secure can the citizens of that kingdom ever really feel? It doesn't matter how much the rulers say they love their people. If there's chaos at the top, there's anxiety all the way down.
There's this amazing concept that translates to the stabilizing pillar that calms the seas. Your marriage is that pillar for your family. It's the central support beam holding the whole house up. When that pillar is strong, the whole family feels secure. It can weather any storm. But when it's cracked, the whole house feels like it could collapse at any moment. Your relationship isn't secondary, it is primary.
All right, so I know what you might be thinking. Okay, the metaphors are nice, but what are the real tangible effects on my kid? That's a great question. Let's break down the 3 critical ways a strong marriage directly supercharges your children's well-being.
First up, think about a child's deepest, most primal fear. It's not monsters under the bed or failing a math test. It's the fear that their entire world, their mom and dad, is going to split apart. When parents are in constant conflict, or even just living in that icy silence, a kid's nervous system gets stuck in fight or flight. All their energy, all their focus goes into managing the anxiety they feel from their parents. How can they possibly have the bandwidth left over to focus on school or friends or just growing up? A stable marriage is like a safe harbor. It tells a child, you're safe. The sky isn't falling. And that frees them up to just be a kid. Okay, number 2. You can forget all the lectures you give your kids about love and respect. They are learning how to be in a relationship by watching you every single day. Your interactions, the good, the bad, all of it, are becoming the internal blueprint, the deep-seated script for their own future partnerships. They learn how to argue, how to make up, how to show affection, all from the live-in workshop that is your marriage. So you've got to ask yourself, what kind of script are you writing for them? And third, oh man, we all know this one, right? Dad says no, so the kid immediately runs to mom. Mom says the curfew is 10, but dad kind of thinks 11 is probably fine. When parents aren't a united team, kids get really, really good at finding the cracks and playing you against each other. And it's not because they're bad kids. It's because they're smart, and they're just looking for the easiest path in a confusing system. A strong partnership means you talk, you get on the same page in private, and then you present a united front. This creates a clear, stable, secure sense of order that, believe it or not, kids absolutely crave.
All right, so we've established the why. A strong marriage is vital. But the how, that's where the rubber meets the road, isn't it? Especially when you're juggling teenagers and jobs and everything else. So let's pivot to 3 real, actionable strategies you can start using today to shift that focus back to your partner. So first, we're going to talk about building a firewall to protect your relationship. Then we'll get into restarting what I call the love savings account. And finally, we'll dig into a really powerful technique for consistent communication.
Okay, this first one,
It's a total game changer. Think about it. How often does a disagreement about your kid's messy room or bad grades spiral into a personal attack on each other? You're always too soft on them turns into you just don't care. The firewall principle is simple. You make a pact. The child's issue is a problem over there, and you two, as a couple, are over here, looking at it together. It's not you versus me. It's us versus the problem. The next time you feel an argument heating up, just call a timeout. Say, hold on, we're on the same team here. Let's solve this problem, not attack each other. Just doing that separates the stress of parenting from the health of your marriage.
I want you to picture your marriage as a bank account. Every small compliment, every shared laugh, every time you have their back, that's a deposit. Every criticism, every eye roll, every moment of disconnect, that's a withdrawal. For a lot of parents, that account is seriously overdrawn. You're making constant withdrawals because of stress. It's time to start making deposits again. And the best way to do that? Schedule regular, non-negotiable non-parent time. It could be a 20-minute walk after dinner, a coffee date Saturday morning, whatever. But there is one crucial rule. You are absolutely forbidden from talking about the kids. Seriously. Talk about your day, a funny video, your dreams, anything that reminds you that you are two people in a relationship, not just co-managers of children.
Now, if you're wondering how to make those deposits, this slide is basically your cheat sheet. It's based on the famous 5 love languages. Maybe for your partner, hearing a sincere, "You handle that situation so well today," is everything. That's words of affirmation. Or maybe it's you just doing the dishes without being asked, a classic act of service. The key is to figure out which language your partner really responds to and then use it. A small, well-aimed deposit is worth way more than a dozen random ones. Okay, before we get to our final and maybe most powerful method, I'm curious. Drop a comment below. Of these first 2 ideas, the firewall or the love savings account, which one feels like something your relationship needs most right now?
Okay, so you've got your firewall up to protect the relationship. You're making deposits with quality time, but let's be real. Disagreements are still gonna happen, right? That brings us to our third and honestly most transformative method, fundamentally changing the way you communicate. See, when things get heated, most of us fall into one of these 3 roles. You've got the accuser, whose whole goal is to point fingers and assign blame. Then there's the pleaser, who just wants the fight to be over so they'll agree to anything, even if they're seething inside. And then there's the hyper-rational, who tries to avoid messy feelings by acting like a robot, analyzing data. The problem? None of them work. They don't build a bridge, they just build a bigger wall.
So what's the way out of that trap? It's a model called consistent communication. And the idea at its core is so simple. Be honest about your own feelings and your own needs while still respecting your partner. The goal is not to win the argument. The goal is to understand and be understood. It really does open a door to a real conversation.
And the best part? There's a simple 4-step formula you can use. Let's try an example. Let's say your partner comes home late again without texting. Now the accuser in you wants to yell, "You're so selfish," right? But using this formula, you could say, 1, when you get home after 11 p.m. without a text, that's the fact. 2, I feel worried and kind of lonely. That's your feeling. 3, because I really value our evening time together, that's the need. And 4, would you be willing to just send a quick text if you know you're running late? That's the request. See the difference? There's no blame. It's just facts, feelings, needs, and a request. It's an invitation to solve a problem together.
Wow, okay, we have covered a ton of ground here, from why your marriage is the absolute anchor of your family to some real concrete strategies you can use to strengthen it. So let's bring it all home.
So here's the bottom line. This isn't just theory. This is stuff you can do today. First, make a pact. Build that firewall. The next time an issue with the kids comes up, you look at your partner and remember, it's us versus the problem. Second, I want you to pull out your phone right now and schedule 30 minutes of non-parent time this week. Put it in the calendar. Make it happen. And third, the next time you feel a disagreement bubbling up, just take a breath and try that 4-step formula. Because at the end of the day, remember this. Every single bit of energy and effort you pour into your marriage is a direct investment in your child's security, in their future relationships, and in the happiness of your entire family.
So I want to leave you with this final thought, a little homework. Think back to the last argument you had about your child. What role did you play? Were you the accuser, the pleaser, the hyper-rational one? And more importantly, how could you have said what you needed to say using that 4-step formula? Go ahead and try rephrasing it in the comments below. It's a really powerful exercise, and I genuinely love to see what you come up with. And hey, If this explainer helped you at all, please give it a like and subscribe for more content that helps us all build stronger, happier families. Thanks so much for watching.